Warning, this video is intended for audiences who are 13 or older. If you are not 13 or older, please fuck off and tell your parents to moderate what you watch online.
William, hey.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk about depression for a second, alright?
Jesus, okay, sure.
This isn't a spoiler cast. This is not an offbeat zinger in relationship to a movie we're gonna watch. This is completely different. Alright?
Mm-hmm.
So you know how last week we were talking about last week's episode of Zenkaiger with Zool the World, right? And why he was depressed, right? And how I couldn't remember what it is. But thanks to our viewers, they reminded us, all right?
Uh-huh.
They reminded us why Zool the World is depressed, okay?
Uh-huh.
All right.
Yeah.
I am gonna find out what I clicked. Let me quickly.
Oh, did you
never read
I thought you had
comment
it
again?
memorized and written it down.
Nope. Oh, that is the wrong video. That is the revised video. Hey, revised video out now.
Oh my god.
Okay.
This series is gonna get wild, but anyway.
Oh yeah. So pretty much Zool the World was just a guy who got experimented on, right?
Oh god.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, like Wolverine. So pretty much, you know Wolverine from the
Yeah.
X-Men?
Yeah.
Wolverine was experimented, got adamantium injected to him, and then after he became a lone wolf and he didn't know how to make friends, but he was overly broken and powerful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's Zool the World, right?
Okay.
That's it. That's it.
Wait. Is that literally? Is like what? So what? Whenever he fishes, he just reminds himself like, oh god, I was tortured and experimented on, and he just gets depressed and sits down. Is that really it?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And pretty much like the easiest way for me to explain is pretty much Wolverine, all right? Unironically, who was also based on an animal. Now that I think about it.
Huh. You know that's coincidence? I think not.
Yeah. But that's not the real reason I wanted to bring up depression with you, all right?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sure.
The real reason why I wanted to bring up depression. So last we were talking about Zool the World, and I was telling you about how in Retro Sentai Tokusatsu, right, the Orange Ranger, right, would always talk about how he wants to die and kill himself in every fight because he wants to atone for his sins, right?
Yeah.
It got me thinking, right? Because here's the thing about Sentai season, right? After I finish it, I don't rewatch it, right? It's like Sentai, I just watch it once and I'm done with it, right? Right? Because there's too many goddamn episodes for me to go back and rewatch it, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Right? Because as you know, I don't have time because I'm an adult now and I have to focus all my times on paying gas, bills, groceries, rent, and all that stuff. Keep that in mind. This is gonna be that what I just said is gonna be really relevant to how this plays out. All right.
Okay.
All right. So I was thinking about because of that, it got me thinking about Retro Sentai Tokusatsu and how, in retrospect, it was actually a way better season than what I give it credit for. Right.
Really.
Right. Because Tokusatsu is a season a lot of people discredit and brush off because it's just a season with a bunch of people and trains and everything. Oh boy, check out this train penis our Megazord can make, right? Right?
Yeah,
but in retrospect, now that I think about it, I think Tokusatsu is actually probably one of the most depressing modern Sentai era show, right?
Uh-huh. Oh, right.
Due to the fact that due to the themes within the show, right? So
Yeah.
Right? So as we already told you how in the show the Rangers are all actually kids who are age up into the future, right?
Right, yeah.
Right? That's the thing when I was thinking about it. When I was trying to remember, right? They never bring it up that they're kids, right? Because, you know, as an adult, we would talk about rent, gas, groceries, all that, bills, all that type of dumb shit, right? But if you actually pay attention to the show, they never bring it up.
They never bring up the fact
modern
that
young adult problems. They only talk about nostalgic feelings and everything. Like it's like, hey, remember we were kids and we go to the park and play, and you just brush up as a random comment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it turns out it was actually hinted on insistent here that shows that they were just kids, right? Because the revelation of them being kids, right, does not come in until like the last act of the show when you find out that they were kids this entire time. Because throughout the show, you just think they're just a bunch of young adults who are on this fucking train going around in their train penis fighting monsters, right?
Yeah.
Right? It's and also when I was thinking about it, like all the Rangers in that show have like actual major character flaw and everything, right? Right? Like I think it was like the Pink Ranger was like a character who didn't feel she was like valued or valid and everything or some shit, right? Right, so she suffered from like self-image and all that, depression and all that stuff. Like the Yellow Ranger had to act as like the big sister mother of the group and get everyone in order all the time, right?
Uh-huh.
Right, like it was actually a really good season. That I think about. Even within the villain sides was also very good, right?
Oh.
Right, because I remember two major villains from the villain team, right? The first one was the female general, right? Who throughout her entire character story arc throughout the season was the fact that she was saving herself up for marriage, or she had to present herself up for marriage, and that was like her character. And pretty much it dealt with like the theme of like female beauty standards and all that shit, right? Because she kept saying, "Oh, I'm too fucking ugly. The emperor would never fucking love me," or something, right? Like that was her entire character story. And when I was watching, I just brushed. I was like, whatever. It's just like some. Also, it didn't help that the female general would look like this ugly grimace from McDonald's creature, right? Right, so I thought it was just like a joke, but she was actually making like actual social commentary, right? That I think about it, right? Like
so
on
it's
the
like
standard of.
So it's like a lot deeper than you originally thought.
Yeah,
I give it credit for.
Even the Emperor was way more fucking deeper than I remember, right?
Yeah. Okay. Jesus.
Here's how the best way I can describe the Emperor. All right. Wait, do you know the character Gilgamesh from Fate Stay Night?
I swear to God. Yes, I do.
No, this is not a shipple. This is not an act. This is actually a real thing.
Okay. I'll give you. I'll
so
let
the
you say
character, so pretty much the main villain, the brute is the Emperor. Unironic. No, he's actually the Emperor, right? That's not a shitpost. He's the actual Emperor, right? Like his entire character's arc, storyline, when as the main villain was like, he got everything he ever wanted, right? He had power, money, sex, drugs, right? All that shit, right?
Yeah.
But he found himself devoid of everything. He's like what? Like he reached the pinnacle, like the height of his like skills, like it didn't fill him, right? Like all this money he had, all this power he had, meaningless to him, right?
Wow, that's surprisingly deep right there, huh?
Yes, and originally when I was thinking about it, right after, like, Tokusatsu is actually a very good season. I actually might go, if I have the time now, actually go back and watch it.
Honestly, just because you said that, I might actually consider watching that season.
Yeah, in retrospect, that I've been thinking about, like, in comparison to, like the blast, I don't want to say, like, last 10 years of Sentai, was it? We're 2021, like, when, like, since, like, 2010, 11... Right, like not counting Gokaiger as a season, right? Because that's the best. That's like the best. That's the pinnacle of Sentai season, right?
Yeah.
Right? If we ignore Gokaiger, right? I actually think within the last 10 years, Tokusatsu might actually be one of the best seasons of within the last 10 years of Sentai. Now that I think about it, in retrospect, like this is actually unironic, like probably the closest we're ever gonna get to like a 90s, 80s era of Sentai theme ever again, right?
Okay, shit.
That right? And no one smokes or gets stabbed right before a wedding, all right?
God,
in case you're wondering.
Why are you saying this to me right now? No, please. I don't want to experience a trauma again, please.
I don't know what you're experiencing, because the only thing I'm experiencing is our weekly Tokusatsu podcast series about Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger. We make discussions right off in personal years of Tokusatsu and depression. And drinking from our friend William. That's you, William.
That's me.
Experiment homage, man. So, as we discuss the latest Super Sentai Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger. Hey, welcome to episode 36.
Jesus.
The surprisingly shocking great kidnapping.
Oh, man.
Okay, there we go. That entire opening bit was the setup for this segue.
Jeez, what the fuck, man? Oh my god. You have to first you set up depression to give me depression just so we can get into a segue? God.
Yes, that's right. Fuck? That's right. Hey, don't worry, everyone's depressed this episode, so it's fine.
Oh yeah, everyone. This is a lot. Like honestly, this is like a pretty good episode overall. But I guess
they're finally moving on with the plot within the series. You know.
I know, but it's like at episode 36. Episode 36, we're finally getting plot.
What do you mean? Oh, are you saying you don't like it for a show to take 36 episodes to establish its plot and character dynamic?
I mean, okay, you say plot. It took 36 episodes to set up plot and dynamics, but it's more like they had a few episodes sprinkled in to make you remember that there is a plot, and then we go full force into it, like around 35 or 34, and that's when we're actually getting into the real meat of the story. Also, we should the whole idea of this episode is like, we have to rescue the father. Like, you still have your mom to look out for.
Yeah, boy,
She's still somewhere out
forgot
there.
about his mom. He's not even actively searching for. There's not even a storyline within the show that of him actually searching for his mom. Like, not even like the background.
Like,
right, not even like the background or something. He just straight up forgot he had a mom in his show.
Like, I honestly
funny
thought,
thing.
I honestly thought, like, once we got introduced to her, like, when she escaped, I thought we would take an episode to kind of, like, after the whole they're searching for her and everything, and then distracting the Toji Tendo. I thought we were gonna have an episode break and then continue to search for her.
Yeah,
but no,
I thought there was gonna be an actual main recurring thing of them searching for the mom, but no, they just straight up forgot the mom was in. Like, the mom is probably on like some other fucking planet or world right now,
honestly.
probably fighting for survival. Like, she's probably like primitive world, right, where she had to kill a dinosaur or some shit. She had to make a wooden spear and spike.
She becomes queen of the dinosaurs. She just rules over the land of dinosaurs. Is that what you're
That's
telling
right.
me? Oh my god.
Right, she try primordial instinct and everything.
Yeah.
I imagine that's what the mom's doing right now.
Honestly. Wait, she's like on her own like training arc, like how Gohan went through his whole training arc under Piccolo in the beginning of Dragon Ball Z. Is that what you're telling me? Oh my god.
Pretty much something like that, I guess.
Right, but like fucking anyway, I guess to get into the beginning of the episode, they finally talk about how, like, well, at least Zox kind of like, this is also kind of an interesting episode where like you get Zox kind of like, it's like, oh, so Hakaiser is your dad, and they're like, oh yeah, he always suspected that, right? Because they were acting very similar. Well, to be honest, they're pretty much spot on in personalities. Kaito and his dad. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but like,
we're just gonna refer to as Kaito's dad, alright? Yeah,
right. And then you get but you know, Kaito says, oh, can you just help us get like help, like if he comes by, help us ensure that, you know, help us rescue our dad, or Kaito's dad, right? And then you quickly cut to like the next scene, and it's just like prank world, right, or something.
That's right. No, this week's enemy is Society-topia, all right?
Society-topia.
This is a world where everything is a society, all right?
No,
this is a world where everyone lives in a society.
That's not the world, god damn it. It's like Jack in the Box world or some shit like
Jack
that.
in the Box world. But he summons a clown, and that clown pretty much tells everyone that they live in a society.
I won't be. It's like, it's kind of a stretch, at least for me, that it's Jack in the Box world, if only because he summoned an actual fucking clown at one point, right? And I'm just like I get everything else where everything pops up. It's like, oh yeah, it's a flower, that's a spring, or what? That's a hand. But then it's like you get an actual clown, which actually weirded me the hell out. Like, and I understand that there are Jack in the Boxes that had like clowns pop up, but I expected like a spring and a fake clown. Having a real clown just pop up and start jumping around is the weirdest shit I've ever seen.
Toto was the fucking part of this too. Like, it's like the funniest thing. How this clown just jumps out of nowhere, like, hey yo, what's up? I'm the clown that hangs out with Jack in the Box world, and that's it, right? At least
honestly.
Everything else that pops up, it makes sense.
Right? Yeah, because it's like something you typically see, like a flower. Maybe you see like a hand or whatever, you know, things that kind of like jump out at you, but it's nothing too like serious. But yeah, the weird life clown, weirdest bit of it. But anyway, like you get into like everybody running off, and then Zox is like, wait, hold up, before we get into before we leave, Flint, I need to have a chat with you, right? And then it kind of cuts to the opening, right? And also, and again, the opening is like they have that. God, was it an auction at the end? Did you watch the opening?
Yeah, well, once again, when you go to the fact that how these opening bit makes no, I thought it was the grandmother was teaching them something.
I think.
I thought they were in like a classroom or something, like not a school class, but like she was like.
Oh no, I'm rewatching it. No, wait, hold on. Now I don't even know because it looks like she's holding something in her hands. Because I'm actually going back to the scene right now.
Yeah, I'm watching her, and it makes no sense for what she's holding in her hand, right?
Yeah, and then, I thought it was like a broken plate, and she's admonishing them or something, but then they raise their hands, and it's like a really weird thing, like, what's going on here?
Once again, and we go to the fact that, once again, these fucking, these scenes make absolutely no sense in any aspect, right?
Like, I honestly thought that there would be some explanation to it. Like, again, I love the fact that, like, back in our previous recordings, I was like, there has to be something, because, like, because I just noticed, like, there was a weird vibe to it. But now it's just like, okay, this is just random shit that they're putting in, right? I don't even know what the purpose of it is anymore.
Yeah.
Right, but after the opening, we kind of cut back to, we actually cut back to the Toji Tendo world, right? And apparently, fucking Boku Wells is just like admonishing the Ijiure over the fact that he lied to him, right? And then he's like, oh, but but then it kind of goes like, oh yeah, but you know what? It's like while I don't like that you lied to me, but you clearly had some very good ideas in using Kaito's dad as Hakaiser, and using what you had to to actually do all this shit that you've been doing so far, right? So I'm like, huh, that's it. Okay, so he's actually taking more of a like. It's interesting because, like, at least for me, because it's like, for the most part, not Hakaiser, I'm sorry, Boku Wells has like always been like, it's like, he's like, you're making me mad and type of shit, and then Gigi would be like, oh, but when they did this, it's like, oh, you're right, Gigi. He seems like the kind of bumbling overlord, right? But in here, it just kind of seems like, oh yeah, he feels a lot more like a leader in this one scene so far, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then Barry Shitara's like, okay, while you go praise him, whatever, I'm gonna go do my own operation, right? And then this is when we kind of cut back to Jack in the Box world, right? And then he's just like, oh, it's the Zenkaigers. We had to. I'm surprised that they're here, right? And then
he didn't expect it. Damn, my character, whose entire gimmick is to surprise people, I am now being surprised.
Yeah.
Also, real quick, I want to know. I don't know if you noticed this, but the Zenkaiger are standing in front of this fucking stand, right?
Yeah.
And there's a bottle of detergent for 278 yen, right? That's a good deal. I'm gonna say that right now.
I mean,
I don't know how much volume is in this, but I assume for like $2, I'm pretty sure it's a good amount compared to buy like a big gallon, right?
Oh my god! I mean, I guess.
Hey, this goes back to the theme of being an adult, all right? That I established earlier.
Okay.
I told you to keep that in mind.
Okay, well, I didn't. So, why does it have to lead the detergent though?
No, hey, look, detergent costs money, all right?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah, but don't worry. Everyone is here to fight him, and I just love how we get to shout the guy still walking. He's like, that's the flower in the street. He's like, he just doesn't care. Like, he doesn't even take the flower out. It's just fucking there, and he just keeps drinking it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. He's just like, well, it's not dirtying the water. I can just keep drinking, I guess.
Also, it's this funny thing is how everyone just walks around this guy, right? Like he's not even a fucking threat. Like, just walks around and like, right? Like how you're in New York and everything, right?
Yeah.
This is like this guy was like a New York style.
To be fair, this whole group of people in this town has just been experiencing Toji Tendo villains like every single fucking week. So at this point, they're just fucking used to it. At this point, it's like, yeah, okay, it's another one. Let's just walk off back home. Let the Zenkaigers deal with it,
Right.
I'm also kind of surprised that the clown stuck around because the
clown's still just straight up breakdancing in the background.
Yeah, because I'm just like, there's a fight where like the Zenkaigers are fighting the Kudaks, and then fucking like the clown just decides to just fucking hop around in the background. He's not even involved in the fight. He's just jumping. Like, why are you here? What are you adding to this battle? What are you doing?
Oh, he's there for entertainment. He's there, right? He's like,
who's he entertaining though?
Hey, look. What is it? Well, what is it? Right? They paid for this guy to show up in a fucking clown costume and to breakdance, right? I think they figure we're gonna get the most value out of this guy, right?
Yeah, I mean, not gonna lie though, the clown kind of freaks me out. But then again, all clowns kind of do.
Yeah, that's right.
But then we kind of anyway, Jack in the Box will kind of walks off, and then you get
leaves.
Yeah, but then he's confronted by Zox. Shows up. Yeah, and he turns into this. What was it? Ghost. He uses a Ghost Sager gear, I believe.
It's Ghost Sager gear, right? And he transfers to Gosei Knight, who was a robot within that season. That is who Gosei Knight. He was an Earth built by the Earth to protect the planet Earth. All right.
So he's Earth's guardian.
That's right. He's Earth's guardian. All right. And he forms the form of a robot that spews rocket fuel everywhere as it flies around. All right.
So what you're telling me, the Earth just like, well, we have a machine here, but how do we power it? Do we use power with natural energy, with wind or water or something? It's like, no,
or solar,
fossil fuels.
or what?
Fossil
I don't know,
fuels.
William. Don't bring up wind energy because did you know that if the wind turbine stops blowing, there will be no power, according to fucking Republican senator who don't understand the concept of wind energy or solar energy because they're fucking idiots. That's what they actually think.
Wait, did they actually
They actually said that was an argument. I think it was like 2 weeks ago when they were arguing about.
This is a recent thing.
It's of course everything we talk about.
Oh God,
is recent,
yeah, no,
right?
you're right. It's just I haven't caught
the Kyle Rittenhouse trial on this episode.
Okay, no, we're not bringing that shit in. Okay, that's not. I'm not talking about that. I'm kind of mad at it.
I'm just gonna bring it up. Put it in mentions, all right. So that way, when I write the YouTube description of this, I can put Kyle Rittenhouse trial in the description.
Get that YouTube traffic. Yeah, you're right.
That's right,
right.
And it not be clickbait, right? Because because I did bring it up. I didn't just randomly put Kyle Rittenhouse trial in the description for nothing. But anyway, ignoring Kyle Rittenhouse and the trial, right? So like 2 weeks ago, there was like when they were talking about the infrastructure deal in America, right? About power or some shit, right? I forgot which fucking senator, probably Ted Cruz or some fucking idiot like that, right?
Yeah,
I was like, hey, what happens if the wind stops blowing on the turbines? Then who's gonna run out of power? They literally said that.
Look, man, they're using whatever fucking bullshit rhetoric. They just say whatever at this point, honestly, just to get what they want. It's so dumb though. Really? That's like, what if the wind? Oh my god, never mind. Wind is constant. Whatever.
But don't worry. Ted Cruz is from a fucking state that doesn't have a backup generator, so he doesn't know what it's like to have backup power, have a backup electrical grid if his states experience a winter dreadlock, forcing him to fly to a sunny side Mexican South. What is it?
Well, it's like
Cancun. Cancun is what, in Mexico?
Fuck, I don't recall exactly for Cancun.
Mexico, that's right. Forcing you to fly to Mexico.
It is in Mexico, but you know, somewhere.
To pass by the winter season as everyone in your state dies from having no electrical because you decide if you're safe for some reason to not have a fucking working electrical system, being all self-reliant instead of having like every other fucking state in the United States of America whose fucking electrical is tied to the government.
God, man. Well, you know, Texas independence, right?
That's right, the Alamo. Never forget the Alamo. That's the state motto of Texas, by the way. That's the first thing you do when you go to Texas. They tell you to never forget the Alamo.
Right. Anyway, fucking Zox kidnaps fucking.
Zox transfers into a giant lion robot face.
Was that a thing that he actually did it in?
Yeah. So pretty much in the show, right? Ghost Knight would transfer into that lion face, and he would form the Megazord with it. That was the.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, it was very cool. I think the Ghost Knight's Megazord was actually super sick. I'm gonna try to see if I can find it.
Right, and in the meantime, I guess I should continue talking about it. But yeah, he kidnaps fucking whatever you call it, right?
Yeah.
Jack in the Box World. The team was like, "Hey, wait, what are you doing?" And then
that's the Megazord form. He had two other robots, right? And he transferred to
there it is.
I'm gonna try so I can find a fucking good pic of it. There we go. Here's a good enough pic of it. Right? So he becomes a lion, right? He had a bunch of. He pretty much becomes like this giant fucking tank that flies around to protect Earth. All right.
Oh my god.
We're the ultimate protector of Earth, a Hummer. All right.
Yeah, that's right. The Hummer will be the protector of Earth.
Only a Hummer can protect the Earth.
Who knew? Who knew? All we needed to do was just all buy Hummers in order to save the Earth.
That's right. We should tell Elon Musk to make a fucking Tesla Hummer.
Tesla Hummer just. Oh my god. But yeah, this fucking like then you cut back to like Stacy just looking at Hakaiser, and then he's like, I never thought you would be actually Kaito's dad.
Yeah, he's contemplating like, uh-oh, like, I thought you were gonna be my dad. Oh,
yeah.
Because I don't have a real life father figure in my life, you know.
Yeah, and he kind of thinks back to Yatsude about like his promise on like looking out for Kaito's parents and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of cuts off from there, and it goes back to Kaito being back in the into the candy shop, right? So they're all wondering what Zox is planning to do with like fucking Jack in the Box. And this is where actually I'm like they actually have room use his intelligence for once, right? Where it's just like, oh, but what if they plan on using him as bait so they can draw out Hakaiser, right? And then everyone's like, wait, no, that actually sounds like something Zox would do, right? But then apparently Kaito has an issue with this. Not entirely certain why myself, except for like the usual good guy bit, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a little iffy, at least for me here, at least for like for the reasoning for this. But you kind of cut back to like to Zox, like
and the Jack in the Box, and he fucking has it over a bed of Spike.
Yeah, like
the greatest fucking thing.
Yeah, and then it's just like their whole like he's changed up holding him over, and apparently like their method of torture is by fucking tickling him, right? Just to get him to call out Hakaiser, right? And then it cuts, and they do make mention of the fact that Kaito wouldn't like that, right? So then it kind of cuts back to Kaito, and then Kaito actually says they can't fucking do that, right? And it's the weirdest thing that I've heard, where I'm just like they on a weekly, because the thing is, there's no real reasoning as to why Kaito would have an issue with this, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't know if maybe it's the fact that like they would use him as bait, or if they know that Zox would probably torture like the villain, right? I don't quite know. They never outright state it, so it's very odd for me the fact that Kaito has an issue with this in the first place, right? Because honestly, it's a very sound plan, but the thing is, it's like it only went wrong because Barishitara, like when you cut back, it's just like, oh yeah, well, I'm level like Jack in the Box has a different he has a different power where he can level up and actually make his like traps deadly as shit, right? And this is like again like and so like the thing is, like if it was with any other enemy beforehand, capture like after Hakaiser kind of showed up, them capturing the villain and using them as bait to bring out Hakaiser was plenty smart, right? And the thing is, there's no real risk, I think, like unless they, again, Barishita laid out a trap to begin with, right? So. That's the thing. Like at least for me, they try to make this artificial conflict between Kaito and Zox, right? Yeah. And I can understand why they want this, because they're trying to show that Zox is changing into a much more kinder person, into somebody different because of Kaito's influence. And I get that, right? Like that's a good thing. But this feels very forced in the sense that like I don't understand why Kaito would have an issue with this, because it's never stated outright. And it's just like, if the only issue for Kaito is the fact that they're using the enemy as bait to draw out another enemy, it's very odd for me for why Kaito will find issue with this, because Kaito is trying to save his dad, so why not use this as a method to actually go and save your dad? It only went wrong the once, and I can understand like if it's because if it's fear of a trap or something. If he said that, then I'm like, sure, because it's just like you don't never know with the Toji Tendo, honestly, realistically, right? But it's like he never says it, and it's very weird, and I'm not sure why. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, though, you get like fucking Barishitaro, who actually gets like, now this is again, they're actually pulling out some they're actually showing some like different the smarter sides of the villains, like Barishitaro, like. Knowing that the Jack in the Box had a level up power that made his traps deadly, and using that against Zox when he is like, oh well, I meant for this for the Zenkaigers, but you using it against you, totally fine, right? And it's just like it's showing why Barishitaro is actually one of the leaders of the Toji Tendo, or at least one of the generals.
Despite the fact that how he's a terrible father and everything, right?
Well, yeah,
at least he's a good general, right?
Yeah. To give props to him as a villain, this is actually a pretty smart plan on Barashitara's part,
I was also,
right?
hey, do we know the fact that at some point Jack in the Box World fucked with everyone's transformation gear, right? Do we run at that point yet?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we kind of skipped over that, actually.
Yeah. At some point, Jack in the Box World fucked just everyone's transformation device, so they can't transform.
Yeah, right. So that happens, and then he does the same thing to Zox, and as Zox and his family falls into the trap that Barashitara laid out, Flint basically gets knocked out on her fucking ass, right? And and but the thing is, he can't transform because Jack in the Box actually stopped his device from being able to give him the transformation sequence, right?
Yeah.
And so basically, Zox is like, he's fucked at this point. He literally can't do anything, right? And then as he's getting fucked over by Barashitara and everything, meanwhile, like Kaito and gang basically save a whole bunch of people from Jack in the Box's new deadly traps, and after doing that, they head back to Zox and then rescue him from basically getting fucked over, right? And then this is when like Barashitara is just like it's like Jack in the Box is like, oh yeah, you know what? You might be here, but you can't transform. And then they're like, well you know what? We're a team, and all they literally do, while it makes sense, but I'm like, all they do is just hold down the fucking cover and then let them transform and everything. It's just all they fucking do. They just hold down the cover and then shoot down and then let the transformation happen. It's like the funniest solution I've seen. It makes sense, but it's just because how simple it was. It's just like, well, alright then. There you go. Yeah.
Also, I remember the fact that there's a fucking stupid pun in this episode with Jack in the Box World when Zox and Flint were in the stupid fucking factory. And we're just straight up blot on a guy in a black spandex suit. It said Jack in the Box World. What the fuck is this? What a fucking stupid pun joke right there. What a fucking nonsensical joke that they made right here. Right, I was just like Jack in the Box. Like there's a fucking guy like a black spandex suit shows up and starts throwing hands, starts punching people, which is the funniest bit.
Oh my god, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't notice the pun.
Just fucking punches Flint right in her fucking face and everything.
Yeah, good, yeah, and it's just she's just down for like the rest of the fight.
Yeah, she takes
honestly.
it, right?
Yeah, she honestly takes that, and then right, where were we? The transformation. Yeah, the transformation.
They outsmarted.
Yeah, I also love the fact that like they do the same thing to Zox, but even then he's still like as Kaito's holding down, he's like, hey, can you maybe not dance? He does the fucking dance anyway. This is fucking
right. Yeah, I love how they have to help Zox dance too, which is the best part.
I know. I just love the fact that they poke fun at themselves on this shit. It's actually fucking great. But yeah, so like everybody fucking transforms, and I love that they do the lineup, and then they do the whole fucking like it's like they do the roll call, and they do it for Zox too. And I also love the fact that the enemy legit just stands there watching this, and they're like, yeah, okay, let's just get this go through, right? I'm like, all right, sure. And then in the meantime, you get like basically Kaito and Zox focusing on Barashitara and like Jack in the Box world. And then you get the other Zenkaijers to
we're
transform.
just fighting the Kudaiks out the fuck, right?
They fight the Kudaiks, but they actually go ahead and rescue Flint first, right? And then this is when they pull out the Go-Go. What
Go-Go 5, which is the Sentai based on rescuing, like actual rescue, right? Yeah. That was the season where everyone was like in some type of emergency service field of area, like nurse, firefighter, or some shit, right? Right. So it actually makes sense. Once again, this is what I want from these fucking Sentai gears, right?
Yeah,
right?
to
actually do stuff like this instead of fucking non-sequential power, right? Right?
Yeah.
Like the normal concept of being lucky or some dumb shit, right?
Yeah.
Like this actually was like this actually good Sentai, because if you actually watch Go-Go 5 or have the basic, you know what they're doing is good and everything, right?
Yeah.
Actually a good use of their power and reference. Also, Gal just has a fucking light stick or something in the background, just moving around, right? just directing people, just fighting.
Yeah, he's just kind of just like, okay, guys, this way, through the exit that we just came through.
Right. Look, he's contributing, right? It's like, look, it's like that person that when you're part of a project, and right, who's there, right? It's like, yeah, who puts his name on the project at the end and calls it a day.
Yeah, honestly, it's actually pretty great, but like, it's fucking fun. That was a fun sequence.
Yeah, Zox and Kaito transforms, and then it's Hot Kaiser. He's here now. He's here to fight.
Yeah,
and everything.
And he comes like he legit just like he's just done charges like wait I sense something and he literally just runs off to go off and fight like and then Stacy goes after him. But yeah, also we should mention that what was it like? Yeah, so Zox and after their whole rescue, Zox and
we'll go back into the warehouse.
Zox
yes, It's a good thing. It's a good thing that Kikanoi's put out the fire in this warehouse. Otherwise, this warehouse would still be on fire as they fight, right?
I know, right?
Yeah, but don't worry. Sat-chan brings up the idea of how hey, you can undo brainwashing by making them run out of power, right? Which I'm like, I guess that works, you know.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, to be fair, it is what happened last time, so I guess it's not a big stretch of the imagination to think that would be like that. Yeah.
But don't worry, Stacy's creeping on them. He's watching from the background, right? He realized, I wanted a dad. I can't believe Kaito got his dad back. I wanted Hot Kaiser to be my dad.
Yeah. Although to be honest, it is some nice development to see where his character's actually like doing something, you know. And then he's just like, I'm sorry, Yatsude, and then he's like, okay, but I was like, I'm sorry, Yatsude, but your son has to be my dad, and so he just like transforms right and helps Hot Kaiser and everything. They're literally fighting over Hot Kaiser, and then like Hot Kaiser's like, but I don't I get a say? No, I choose who my friends are, you know, that kind of thing. And then he basically just goes in and starts helping out Stacy and fighting Kaito. And it looks like they kind of get the drop on him for a little bit. Let's see. I'm trying to remember what else happened. Yeah. Stacy is just basically like, hey, no, you don't get to have everything this time. Fuck off, Kaito. He's my dad now. And then you cut back to like the Zenkaigers fighting Jack in the Box. Right?
Meanwhile, the Zenkaiger are fighting Jack in the Box. They're doing their own thing, right?
The most wild shit happened in this. Like,
they have nothing else to do, so they have to fight the monster.
But
here's the best part: is when Gawan gets the Zenkai gun or the fuck where we're doing this, and he realizes this thing could explode, right? Because it releases such a great force of power, right? He realizes, I don't want this gun to explode in my face, right?
Yeah, and so he hands it to
him, which is the best part.
And then once it goes off, his upper half literally just blows back off.
Yeah, it actually does blow up.
Legs.
Which is actually funny as fuck.
It's so wild. I'm like, this is like one of those instances where you kind of appreciate the fact that they are machines just for fucking gags like this. Like, holy shit, though.
Yeah, also the fact that Jure might will let people die. It turns out. Yeah. He's like, man, I know this. It's like when you find food, right, and you don't know if it's good or not, so you tell your friends to test it out first, right? It's like, hey. It's like if you were a king in the 15th century, right? And you tell the food taster to taste the food for poison first to find out if it's poison or not, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And it's like, if he dies, oh well, guess it was poison. If he doesn't die, guess the food's good, right?
Yeah, so they defeat Jack in a Box, and everything disappears. All the Jack in a Box shenanigans, like the fucking breakdancing cloud. What a fucking sight! He's just fucking backflips out of existence, which is the funniest thing.
Honestly, he clearly took lessons from Zuos, man. Clearly,
that's right.
But fucking so basically because Jack in the Box is
still getting his ass kicked in the background by Bari Shitara, right?
Yeah, and then Bari Shitara's like, you know what? I'm out, boys, and he literally fucking leaves.
Also, real quick, hey, did you notice Bari Shitara has a bunch of fucking medals on him? Medals?
No. Oh, you mean the
first time? Because because they do like this close-up shot of Baru Shitara before he leaves, right? And you see like a bunch of medals hanging out. I was thinking, was this there before? Was this there before?
I mean, in all honesty, we don't really see a lot of Barashi Tara for a while, so it's
right. That's how I was like so confused by Sonic. I was like, how long has those been there?
Yeah, honestly, but you know, after he fucks off, like the fucking the Kudai test, whatever you fucking call it, fucking steps on it. Of course,
okay, I'm gonna be here now. I'm the enemy now. You have to fight me in my Jack in the Box theme world now. Right?
Yeah, and then you you get like Kaito and Zox transform into Zenkaiger.
Form Zenkaiger.
You also get this. You also get that little blurb where there's like where Kaito actually is like, which was interesting where they put this in where it's just like, hey Zox, we need to have a talk after this, and Kaito, Zox is like, yeah, oh what? Oh yeah, okay, fine, right? And then the fight happens and everything, right? And then the weirdest segment I've ever seen like in a fucking fight has happened so far, where literally like after Majin just like uses her magic powers aside.
Best fucking part. Majin, once again, aside that she's like an omniscient fucking creature within this fucking series, literally warps reality and they fucking do a YouTube prank video. They got him. They got Jack in the Box.
Literally pranked the shit out of Jack in the Box. It's really weird.
It's so fucking damn funny. To be fair, I was kind of disappointed in this section, right? I was expecting this to be more like Japanese prank shows, right? I wanted a bunch of fucking random text all over the video. I wanted a face cam of like a bunch of random people that aren't related to events going on, like an actual Japanese fucking game show, right?
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, but no, they pranked him. They got Jack in the Box for him, and they defeat him. Right? And then all the worlds unite together for some fuck. We get all the world flags together.
I don't understand that.
I don't understand why every single all the world's flag was there.
Like if it was like an international whatever day or whatever, like then I get it. But like I don't think it fell on the date that that this aired, right?
I don't know. I don't fucking know. Probably not.
It was kind of just like out there. It was just kind of like a really weird moment. Like I didn't exactly.
Yeah, like I was so confused when they showed the flag and everything. Alright, let's go to November 21st and see what comes up. Fuck, there's a lot of things. I went to the booking page for November 21st. Holiday and observance.
What if you just specified for Japan though? Because like
let's see, Air Assault Force Day in the Ukraine, Armed Forces Day in Bangladesh, Armed Forces Day in Greece, Christian Feast Day, General Framework Agreement Day for the Republic of... Fuck, I can't even pronounce this fucking...
Hold on, give me the link. I'm about to look at this right now.
You can pronounce this, William.
Okay, okay, where is this?
Read the second to last one.
The last one?
The second to last one.
Oh, second. General Framework Agreement Day from the Republica. What the fuck? How do you pronounce that? How the Srpska? I don't know. It's like the only thing that can really make sense because it's like
I've never heard of this place before.
All right, hold on. I'm opening up the wiki for this.
Let's learn about something today. Oh, okay. Oh,
no, it is Srpska. It is Srpska.
Oh.
I literally listened to you.
Suburbia, Suburban Republic, the Republic of Serbia.
I don't. Christ. Yeah, but these aren't. Why are the world flags? I'm so confused.
Oh, anyway, I mean, it could have been a World Television Day, you know.
World Television Day?
Yeah, that's right.
Commemorating the date on which the first World Television Forum was held in 1996. But how does that relate to what I sort of tangentially, I guess, I guess maybe because like you prank people on TV.
There's no sense. It makes no sense.
I don't know, man. That's weird. It's weird as shit. But yeah. Anyway, like they win the day, and you go back to the candy shop where Kaito kind of actually blows up on Zox, right? Where he's like, "Don't ever do that ever again," right? But then it's just like, this is where like this is the kind of thing where it's just like this whole argument between Zox and Kaito, where Kaito's like, "Don't ever do that again," and then Zox is like, "But it brought out Hot Kaiser, didn't it?" Right? And then literally, as someone in the bracket, I think it was Yurin, literally states nobody's in the wrong here. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. I'm just like, so why is Kaito blowing up over this fucking issue? Like, the thing is, I'm just like, I get things went wrong, and I get why Kaito might be angry at that, right? But but it's just like, he never explicitly states that he's angry over the fact that the trap happened, right? But it's just, but it's again, it just kind of boggles my mind where it's just like, okay, they're just kind of yelling over nothing, I guess, right? And then, Yatsude comes in as a mediator and says, okay, look, we appreciate what you did, and we are grateful, but just please let us handle it our way, right? Because,
right.
And I'm like, sure, and it just feels like a pointless argument, right? That kind of thing, where it's just like the thing is, I get what they're going for, because you have Zox leaving later on. It's like, well, having friends is kind of complicated, but he's like happy to have friends and everything, right? And so is everyone else. But it's just like, this would make more sense if there was an actual argument to actually have,
Yeah.
And it's just really weird to have this kind of forced conflict to happen. Now, if Kaito said, like, we can't have this kind of thing happen again, and he's like, I appreciate what you did, but the fact that this that you pulling the stunt ended up having this result, we can't have this shit happen, right? And then Zox being well-meaning and saying, but it did do this, and then, if they reasoned out those arguments like that, then it'd be fine, right? But it's just like, with Kaito, it's just like, he never explicitly states what he felt was wrong with the issue. And even someone in the background, when they were having this pseudo argument or whatever, literally says nobody's in the wrong here. So I'm like, yeah, so what like, there's no argument to be had here unless Kaito specifically mentioned the trap going wrong, right?
Yeah.
And he never does. Like, and even then, Kaito never had, like, Kaito, like, was angry before the trap happened, right? And then it's like, if it was, like, maybe an issue where Zox, like, if he had an issue with, like, Zox basically being like, oh, I wish he told me this so, like, we could have helped out, or, like, something, right? Because, like, him doing this, like, on his own and then not telling him is kind of like, yeah, like, you're doing a nice thing, but, like, it's kind of involves my dad, and I wish you kind of told me about that, because it actually really directly involves me. Then I can kind of get the argument, right? But they made it seem like he had an issue with him kidnapping the villain and doing whatever with the villain in the first place. And I'm like, you really shouldn't have an issue with this to begin with, because you literally just blow up an enemy every single goddamn week. So I'm just like, what?
Hey, don't worry. Don't worry. Hey, look, no one cares about the lives of the Japanese citizens, all right? According to Kaito, right? All right, Kaito. Yeah. The lives of the Japanese citizens are disposable, all right? According to Kaito.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's just like, it's like this episode is, I'm pretty fine with for the most part. I actually appreciate a lot of these other sides of the characters that they show, like especially on the villain side of things, right? But it's just like this whole conflict that they have between Kaito and Zox is just really weird to begin with,
It's such a weird, super forced conflict for these two characters. Like, we established that they had different external views.
Very clearly in the beginning.
But this one doesn't really make sense in any way. Like, Kaito knows Zox does his own thing, right? It's like he's acting sharp. It's like finding out, like, the murderer, right, was also a cannibal. It's like, damn, I knew he was a murderer, but I didn't realize he was cannibalizing people, right?
Yeah, and that's one step too far. I'm like, this is kind of like, they're at that point, they're like, oh man, this is a weird argument to have here. I wish you didn't use this analogy. But
yeah, it's really weird.
It's just like he's bad either way, right? In terms of your analogy, right? But he knows that Zox kind of does his own thing, and then Zox doing this is like, yeah, you should expect it, right? Like, if it was an argument of him like, oh, I wish he involved me because this actually involves my father, and I wish he just didn't do this behind my back. I wish he told me about this. Then that would be a much more valid argument. Then I'd be like, yeah, I kind of get why you're angry, Kaito, because it's like, you're friends, but he's not really acting like acting as a friend should in this kind of situation, right? So I would kind of get it, but here it just seems like he's kind of angry over the fact that he has he's using the villain as bait, which I don't really get why he would be angry over.
Right.
Right?
It's not like Kaito, since the beginning, was all about propagating. What's the correct word? Presenting all for Kikanoid rights or anything, right? Right? And then like he's been like super vocal, like, hey yo, we gotta protect these fucking robot Toji Tendos or whatever the fuck, right? Right? Like throughout the series, right? He's just been like whatever, but he's just been straight up murdering them, you know? He's like, and all of a sudden he found like, oh no, hold on, I gotta protect this Toji Tendo's enemy this week, you know, right? I care about Jack in the Box world, alright? Jack in the Box world reminds me of my family, right?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just very odd, and it's just. But otherwise, it's a perfectly fine episode.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's just a forced conflict that's just kind of really just.
Yeah, it's really weird. It makes no sense for it. It makes no sense for this type of conflict to be for these characters to have.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's I mean, otherwise, it's a fine episode. I had fun with it. There was especially some good laughs, and there are some nice changes to the villains where like you get to see different sides of them, especially with Bokuwasu and him actually looking like feeling like a leader in Bashitar, feeling like he actually earned like the general position for once a little bit, you know. But otherwise, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's it, right?
Yeah, hey, stay tuned next week where we fight cabbages or something dumb. I don't fucking know.
Radishes, I don't know.
Yeah, same thing. Cabbage, radish, it's all the same thing. They're all stupid fucking fruits or vegetables or something. I don't know.
Okay.
It's the same thing, right? Fruits and vegetables, the same thing, right?
They're not the same thing.
I don't know. I'll let Ted Cruz be the judge of that. All right.
Jeez, Ted Cruz of all people. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, sure. He'll like. You can have him explain how wind power will like just stop at one point. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Oh my God.
All right. Stay tuned next week where we continue our discussion of depression. All right.
That's not.
All right. Stay tuned next week where William would have watched all Russia Sentai Tokucha within 1 week. Within 1 week. To discuss it.
No, that's not at all what's going to happen.
That's how it works. That's how it works. People don't know what happens in a weekly basis that we do this. All right.
Okay.
Right,
well, you know what? I'll just claim that I watched it in a week, and nobody will be the wiser.
No, that's right. No one can. No one has proof. Right?
Yeah. No one has proof. Not even this
audio
recording.
That's right. That's what the Republican said. It says there was no proof that an insurrection happened on January 6th.
Oh my God.
Just a bunch of tourists, you know, right? In the capital.
Yeah, sure.
It was just a friendly group of tourists.
Not at all.
Yeah, no insurrection here, according to the Republicans.
Yeah, otherwise it's just fake news, guys. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's right. It's always has been. All right. That's the video. Are you done?
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah, we're done with the video. All right. Coronavirus is still a thing. Wash your hands, wear a mask, get your fucking shots. Hey, the booster's out now. Get your booster shots. I'm getting mine.
Oh, I should do that. Yeah.
I gotten mine by the time this gets uploaded. Now, when I think about it, due to recording scheduling.
Let me go ahead and set up the appointment.
All right, hey, William is now gonna disclose all of his personal medical information in this video.
I'm not.
Stay tuned to the end.
No.
All right, Kate. Thanks. Bye.